How many of you have successfully woken up on purpose to watch a sunrise? Managed to turn off your alarm and drag yourself out of bed just to behold those few moments of wonder? It's absolutely worth it. Personally, I managed to do so for exactly one time. It was August 8th, 2023, the first day of senior year. Traditionally in our school, we seniors dress in black and show up at Folsom Lake at 6 a.m. to watch the senior sunrise. Without the full presence of the sun, the ribbons of gold and pink hues undulating across the sky seemed washed out but bright, as if beckoning a sense of hope and dispelling fragments of promises for the future. It was one last moment to consider what it truly meant to be wholly present before our attentions became divided over academics and social interactions. Since I am an angsty teenager, instead of marveling at the landscape and getting excited about the year to come, I decided it was the perfect time to contemplate my life choices. Even though high school wasn't quite over yet, I worried my time here has been defined by complacency and missed opportunities. There always seemed to be more I missed out on, despite the 30-odd months I spent on homework, extracurriculars, projects, and the 2 years I took an additional 0 period. Looking back, I began to realize how much fear had controlled me. I was afraid of wasting time and energy on stuff that would never pan out for me. So I stuck to what I knew, and as it turns out, I was behaving very similarly to the antagonist of one of my favorite movies. Raise your hand if you have seen the 2023 movie Spiderman Across the Spider-Verse. Wonderful. Spoiler warning. For context in this movie, there are multiple universes, multiple Earths, each distinguished by a number. Every Earth has a Spider-Man. Some are Peter Parker, some are Gwen Stacy, and others are completely unique. Each rendition puts a new spin on the same character, introducing so much variety in personalities, design, motivations, and more. We are also introduced to the concept of the canon. Now, for my purposes, canon is defined as anything accepted as part of the official fictional universe. For example, in Star Wars, all of the movies are canon, while most of the books are not. In the Spider-Verse, the canon is a collection of events and characteristics that every Spider-Man must undergo or possess in order for all universes to exist. These events include the spider bite, death of a loved one, finding a love interest, the accidental creation of villains such as Doc Ock or Green Goblin, and a police captain close to Spider-Man dying in the line of duty. The typical personality type includes a witty sense of humor, high intellect, and an inherent drive to get up no matter how many battles and broken hearts Spidey suffers through. The antagonist I am referring to is Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man from Earth number 2099. He is the foremost authority on everything Spider-Verse related, having actually defined the canon in the first place. Using advanced technology, he's developed a way to navigate the universe and has formed the Spider Society, a team of hundreds of spider people, all dedicated to preserving reality. You would think he'd generally be a decent and patient leader, willing to embrace the kaleidoscope of different ideas within the society, right? Well, like most lone superhero men, he has no family. Upon locating a universe in which a version of himself had a family but died, our Miguel attempts to step in and take his place. But in doing so, he broke the canon, resulting in that entire universe dissolving before his eyes. Billions of innocent lives gone. Even though we don't exactly know what he did to break the canon, there were no possibilities for redemption. So, Miguel takes measures to ensure such evisceration never occurs again. He makes these rules. Preserve the canon at all costs, sacrifice everything for this one goal. To him, the canon means there is only one path for all universes, so he lets it shape every aspect of his life, his decision-making, his agenda, his philosophy, everything. My canon was that I was a STEM kid. I thought I wouldn't amount to anything unless I was proficient at those related subjects. I took engineering, manufacturing, I challenged into math classes, and I had the gall to take AP Physics with 0 prior experience. I was technical, logical, practical. I prided myself on my scientific-oriented mind, and even though I loved my creative hobbies, I wholeheartedly believed that that part of me didn't matter. It didn't factor into my assumed canon of becoming a scientist. I established my constraints as a means to gauge and manage my capabilities. I became the antagonist of my own high school narrative. I was under the impression I had to get my life under control. I had to be the authority of my future before it could have a chance to undermine my grand plan. Similarly, Miguel was under the impression he had to be the authority of the Spider-Verse, so he took responsibility for all of reality. Rather, he tried to control all of reality. He created an algorithm that allows him to predict when canon events occur and to whom. He knows when innocent men and women are going to die, and he will actively make sure it happens because that's all he thinks should. But this kind of thinking is dangerous. Enter the protagonist, Miles Morales from Earth number 1610, who calls into question everything Miguel stands for by simply existing. The gist of it was that he wasn't supposed to be Spider-Man. He wasn't supposed to get bitten. Yet, even though he cannot possibly align with Miguel's canon, no universes are destroyed. In fact, after he gets bitten, his family member dies, he finds a love interest, his actions lead to the creation of a villain, and his father, a police captain, is predicted to die in the line of duty. If you recall, these are all canon events. These only exist because Miles became Spider-Man, so now he must be Spider-Man. The canon cannot be set in stone. It develops in parallel to each universe. Miles is the most true Spider-Man out there. He's funny, intelligent, and he manages to retain the one ability every other Spider-Man apparently loses when joining Miguel. He thinks for himself. He asks the hard questions. Is it okay to just let people die because of some model? Is it okay to just let life happen to you because it's hard and you'll end up sacrificing your comfort in the end anyways? Miles reminds us you can only control yourself, your own thoughts and actions. You have to realize how amazing this is. Miguel's made-up rules do not apply, nor can they, because they assume that everything that will ever happen has already been predetermined. No, the future is unwritten. There is no right way to navigate adversity. There is no set timeline you will have to follow. Consider this. Would you be any better, any healthier, any wiser if you tried to improve yourself in only one way? We might think life will be easier, less painful, less uncertain, being told what will happen next by a trustworthy algorithm. But such predictions eliminate all potential character development, creating a meaningless future. No one can tell you how that future, your story, is supposed to go. There is no supposed to. There is no should. Yes, maybe should sets the standards and expectations to pursue excellence, but too often is it compared to the real world. It creates an expectation of perfection. You should have done this. So-and-so should have happened. Should is the goal. It is the ideal world in which most cases will never exist. The best we can achieve is should adjacent, and pursuing should directs us away from reality. So acknowledge it, but move on. Furthermore, you cannot get stuck in the facts of the past. Yes, reflecting on past failures, the point of doing that is to learn from them. but too often are they brought back as sources of discouragement. Overcoming failure means not undoing the pain, but adding it to your timeline. Looking back and being able to announce, that was the moment everything went wrong. Mistakes were made, pain was unavoidable, yet in spite of it all, you refused to let it ruin you. You coexist with the fact you were down and out, but now you are making a comeback. I may have been Miguel, unyielding and closed-minded, and yes, I have suffered through many broken hearts, the family losses, shattered relationships, low grades, and an even worse attitude. But I have since opened my eyes to the possibilities that Miles embodies. I'm not just a STEM kid. I'm a freshman who did a bad pirate accent for my Romeo and Juliet final. I'm a sophomore who renovated my backyard the same day I took my first AP test. I'm a junior who studied hard enough to win 9 medals the first time I competed in academic decathlon. And I am a senior who remembers waking up early, watching that sunrise, still afraid, but no longer willing to allow my fears to control me. I am, and will be, always more. I remember every friendship in which I loved and was loved, every failure, every group project, every success. This was real. My laughter beat against these walls and hallways, my heels memorized the routes to my classes, and regardless of my anxieties, my time here was saturated with wholeness. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter who you are, I want you to leave this room with the conviction to never argue wasting time and energy as a reason to limit yourself. Wasting time is an inconvenience, but you will make the most of it anyway. The point is to use time and energy, whilst in the context of persevering through mistakes and setbacks. Pursuing your goals is not going to be easy or comfortable. You can make all the right moves and still lose. But fear of failure or disappointment is no excuse to not make an attempt. You must reject the tendency to blame your shortcomings on your circumstances because you're not a victim. Life is not something that just happens to you. It is your workshop, your classroom, whatever you have the courage to make out of it. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. It is time to recognize the power of your agency and unleash it.